WSL champions.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Vic Akers Wonderland. Now, it's been a while, it's been a minute, back in WSL action, and it was a fantastic game of football for some of us. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch this. I had to watch the highlights back, but it was a fantastic game. Arsenal 7, yes, 7 in 7 heaven at the Emirates against Leicester. How are you, Lottie?
I'm good. I'm feeling pretty smug about the Foxes being outfoxed. Even Gunnosaurus got one over on the Foxes mascot Filbert. I think his shirt said, if I remember rightly. But Filbert did get his little I scored against Gunnosaurus badge to take home, which was quite funny. But yeah, good. Nice little kickabout with the girls.
So we'll go quickly into some news. I think the most prominent the only ones that we've really had are Steph Catley getting a new contract. I think we'll talk about that first because Steph Catley, yes, she's wonderful. Yes, she got left foot like Messi, and she does hit it extremely well. Just Steph Catley signing the contract. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm quite happy with that. I mean, I think the long-term plan is to leave her at the centre-back on side by side with whoever. I don't think she's going back to being a full-back for a little while, purely because of the way that Renée's playing at the minute. She whatever she's doing is working. Well, we know what she's doing, but you know what I mean. I think, yeah, I'm happy. The video for her with Calvin was very, very cute. I will say that.
I really thought they missed a trick. They were missing one dog.
What? Go on.
Win. They could have brought Win out as well, and that would have been quite a little bit of a opportunity there.
Yeah, when she met up with the supporters, I think that was a missed trick, definitely. But as far as her and in the signing room, it was perfect for me.
Yeah,
we know how much she loves Calvin.
I think that was great to do. I think they really thought outside the box with that contract announcement.
Yeah, no, definitely, because the last video I was in with my big flag. So yeah, no, I'm glad she signed. I'm glad they've gone for the doggy angle, so to speak.
It was nice to see. Just a favourite moment, because we did this with Stina. And obviously, there were so many moments to choose from. Steph.
Do you know what? With Steph, it's anything with Calvin for me at the moment. it's just anything where Calvin pops up. It's just so sweet. Especially when Calvin and Miles, Beth's dog, are just going crazy. You see those sort of things. They're just because they're happy dogs, I think.
Yeah. Well, there's so many dog mums on the team. I think that was... I don't think anyone was expecting it, but I think everyone would have thought probably further down the line something like that would have been happened. But it's really, I'm surprised actually Arsenal haven't tried to sign like a dog food sponsor or something like that, just with the amount. But maybe that's something for them to look at that further down the line. If I had to pick a moment, Steph Catley, free kick against Koga, top bins, and oddly enough against Kaylin Marquise, who would eventually play for Arsenal only for a couple of games, but it was a really well hit free kick in the Champions League.
Yeah.
What about the one that I think a lot of people were sort of saying, I don't know what's going to happen? Leah Williamson, she put pen to paper once again.
Do you know what? All this is just nonsense. She's been here 20 years now. She ain't going nowhere. I'm sorry. She's not going nowhere. Regardless of what people are saying. She misses Arsenal. She's not going nowhere. I'm happy she stayed. And I think her scoring against Leicester set off her contract signing very nicely. Very, very nicely.
Yes.
She's Wonder Woman. I remember the moment that I decided I prefer women's football slightly more to the men's, even though I've been watching it a lot less. She got smacked in the ball smacked in the head with the ball in a game, and she kept going, and then she went down a few minutes later because she had genuine concussion. You look at the men's game, they get tapped, they're crying, you know? Or the medical team could get it increasingly wrong, and you could make you run on ACL, if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, no. She's Wonder Woman, honestly.
My favourite moment for Leah, I'm going to say apart from the trophy list as well, because a lot of them she's sort of been gesturing a lot towards Kim to sort of say, you're taking this, you're lifting this one. Whereas Kim sort of say, no, you're lifting this with me. You've sort of knocked her a bit of the head, but Katie McCabe's corner, she blasts it straight into Leah Williamson's face.
That was a Champions League game against Laura Wienvoort's old club, wasn't it? Before she signed. I think.
I think so. It was in that Champions League run. I remember that.
Yeah, because that was the season we signed Laura. So, God, sorry.
The other thing I just love is that you've got Leah Williamson, who was the original long ball dictator, and not many. You see so many copies that you can't get the original anymore, and you can't be an original player, and just the way that she plays as almost like a midfielder in defence, and she could play both roles. Even though she's unhappy to play midfield, she prefers to play centre back. She can do both, and she's so good at them.
I completely agree. Even if we move her around the pitch, there's nothing I'm worried about with her. I know she knows she's got a job to do, and she knows what she's doing. So, but I do prefer her at the back where she should be, because I do find that she quietly, although she's not captain, she's quietly leading from where she is in the back line.
She's such a demanding player. You see it a lot more with England, like the cameras are on her a lot more, and you'll see that she's demanding more of the players around her. She's able to show that she's not afraid to use her voice and express her concerns, and she's a willing player, and she's devoted to the cause, whether it's Arsenal, whether it's England. Even with Team 2B, that's been a thing. But we'll talk about the game itself. Starting 11, Daphne van Domselaar in goal, Leah Codina, Taya Hines, Smilla Holmberg, and Emily Fox as the back line. Was that unexpected for you?
Oh yeah, no, it's just I think it was a bit odd, because obviously it's not none of the usual faces bar Emily. Leah Codina, we've seen her as a defensive midfielder recently. Taylor Hines is usually, and Smilla Holmberg are really brought on in the later stages. So for them to start, it was something different. But then again, this is a potential relegation team. So they're a threat, but they weren't a threat because the previous week they got beat 5-1 by London City Lionesses.
Yes.
I believe. Yeah. So they weren't in a good spot anyway. And with Saturday looming, which is tomorrow because it is Friday night for us, I think it was really important to sort of rest people.
So the midfield and the wide areas were Frida Marner, Lynn Hardson-Mornham, Victoria Pelova, Katie McCabe, Kim Little, and Olivia Smith. Again, any real questions?
Not really. I expect Katie to be in the back line. So I was kind of wondering originally when I read it off the team news notification of Twitter, if it was going to be McKay, Codina, Hines, Fox, and then in front of in the defensive midfielder spot was Codina, because that's what we've been seeing. I think that's the only thing with that. Other than that, it's more or less as expected.
Yeah.
So yeah. What about you?
I did question that. I was thinking either Katie was going to be playing as a centre back, because essentially Taylor Hines and Smilla Holmberg are on centre backs.
Of course not, but you've also got to be a jack of all trades if you're in the defence line. You know that. Katie
So,
is, Steph is. You can have Kadina can be. Emily, I haven't seen her play at centre back yet. But you've got to be a jack of all trades.
who was it that was playing alongside Leah? I didn't manage to catch.
Oh, it was Taylor.
It was Taylor. I think.
Yeah, while Fox kind of or Holmberg went up the wings, you had Kadina and Hines at the back. Or if one of them get forward, it was a sort of rotation back three for me, from what I was watching.
That's interesting though, because Taylor Hines is left-footed. So there's another option there, potentially another left-footed centre for her to convert to a centre back, which would then. But again, we'll wait and see what happens with that. But maybe it was the experiment to see how it goes, and if it was a good experiment, maybe we'll see it further down the line. And Stina Blackstenius led the line as well, expected. I believe she's on 150 WSL appearances now as well.
Sorry, for who? Do apologise.
I'm going to get this wrong. Frida Marnham was on 100 WSL appearances. Stina Blackstenius, I think, is on 150 appearances for Arsenal.
Okay. I'm not 100% sure on that, so I can't back that. I know Frida got her. I know that Renée got her first 100 goals in WSLs, now reached 100. And Frida Marnham's reached 100 WSL appearances.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So, and then, as I said, Renée's now got 100 goals under her belt.
To be fair, 100 goals was essentially just over a year at it's pretty big.
Yeah, no, it's massive considering there's 24 games a season.
24 WSL, yeah.
Yeah.
She came
in the
WSL. Into the WSL.
She came in about halfway through in the November. Yeah. When it went wrong with that awful squad in West London. So yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting either way. Yeah. Let's see where we go from here.
I did want to mention just briefly Mia Dixon, 4 years in the academy for. She's an under-17 player playing in the under-21s. She made the bench. One definitely to keep an eye on for the future. I do like to keep an eye on the young guns, as you all know. So let's talk about the first goal. 25 minutes on the clock. Taylor Hines puts a cross into the box, and Frida Marnham puts her header into that bottom left corner, hits the post and bounces in for 1-0. What are your thoughts?
There's something about Leonardson Marnham in the clock end. End of story. I say this all the time. I mean, it was a great goal. It took. I thought the cross was great from Taylor. I've not really kind of seen enough crosses to gauge Taylor's crossing, but it looks better than it did when she was at Liverpool. So I was quite impressed. And Frida's in the right place at the right time for once. But yeah, she likes scoring in the clock end. She always has done.
It's only a few more minutes later, and 27 minutes on the clock. Frida and Harton Marnham slides in Smilla Holmberg to slot past Clark in the Leicester goal. Again, finding the same corner as Frida to make it 2-0.
Yeah. Again, I remember having a conversation with someone. I'm saying, Frida scored. It's now Stina's turn. Like, they said, oh, when's she going to score? She'll score. I said, it's going to be 90 minutes. Then this popped up, and I went, it's a Scandinavian goal night. So, obviously, the Scandinavians linking up and getting the ball in. I think it's a absolutely great first goal for Smilla Holmberg. I will criticise Arsenal because when they put her sort of, the animation up on the screen for her, they spelt her name wrong.
Oh, no.
There was one L missing from her name, and I was like, okay, that is now awful. But I'm happy she's got her first goal because that's just footnotes, just for the fans. But it was a really nice goal just to kind of start start where she's at for Arsenal. I mean, you never know. She's been hanging out with Stina a fair bit, and probably Frida, and she might have been practicing her scoring. You never know. But I definitely want to see more over the weekend and into the next 3 games for sure.
It's definitely one to keep an eye on. I think link up play is always going to be one of those things that they work hard on week in, week out. The players themselves, again, off the pitch and on the pitch, they probably do a lot with each other, meet up and go to concerts, theatre, films, whatever, dog walks. So anything that they can do to sort of build that team, but we know the club almost treat everyone within it for the women on the women's side is I don't want to say it's a huge family. I think is the best way to put it without being muffling up the words, should I say.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I mean, it's always great to see that kind of stuff, especially when you know players will regularly link up and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, I'm just really happy for Smilla. I think she's very happy as well. I mean, she got player of the match as well, which is even better.
She probably got lots of points in fantasy as well. I'm sure she's a visionary pick as well, so that gave her an extra couple of points. Imagine if you'd have captained her as well. That would have been...
There was someone that tripled her.
Yeah, imagine what would happen.
I saw her on the socials, so that should be interesting.
41 minutes on the clock. Arsenal aren't done. Frida and Hardson-Mornham's cross finds another Scandinavian's head. This time it's the Stina Blackstenius head. Copy and paste for the first goal. Same place, same post. This time the right side of the net instead of the left side of the net. So copy and paste. 3-0 up, just about to go into half time. You just think this can't get any better, surely.
No, it can't get any better. I mean, Stina, we laugh at her and she's offside. We say she's never offside, but when you see games like this, it makes it all completely worth it. I mean, it's a great way to start off a new contract as well. I know I mentioned the Leah Williamson one, but for me, Stina, I don't think I've told you this. When that notification came through before I got it to the group chat, obviously I was working at home, and it's come up, pinged up on my phone. I've grabbed my phone in the middle of the senior management meeting, turned off my camera and my mic, and I've jumped out my seat, and the desk has jumped with me as well because my knees are here. And then I almost fell out the chair with excitement. It was just crazy. But yeah, no, it's just one way to start off a new contract. Not offside, and obviously linking out with her bestie, Frida. So when Frida scores, Stina scores. I've always said that to you. I've always said it to Adam. Adam didn't believe me. He was at the game with me. I said she's going to score. Well, I'm like, no, she's not. She's not. I went, okay, just watch. And then Smilla humbled me. But again, Stina proved it wrong. And I love it when that happens.
What was curious is what happened next, I would say, is that there's additional time. The additional time said 4 minutes. The goal happens in the 5th minute. So added time. Victoria Palova is unable. So it's a long ball that's come into the box. Victoria Palova's tried to, get some. Go on.
I am going to butt in there, but because the board for us in the ground, it did say 5 minutes. So it might have been wherever you're watching got it wrong.
So this
was definitely 5 minutes.
This has come from Sky. So
yeah, no, it's 5 minutes.
That first time, as I like to say, oh yeah, it's +5, but +4 minutes. And obviously they must have got it wrong. So anyway, any additional time, Victoria, a long ball over the top. Victoria Palova's chasing it. She's not able to get the touch that she wants. I think she's looking to loop it over Clark in goal, but she manages to get a little touch on it that manages to slowly trickle towards Stina Blackstenius. Stina doing Stina things. She makes it a sliding shot, and it hits the roof of the net for 4-0.
Yeah, I think I scared my partner's sister with this one because I just flew out my seat screaming my head off. There's nothing more magical than a Stina Blackstenius goal, and especially when it comes out of an unsuccessful shot from Big Vic. Sorry, I do call her Big Vicky P. Games and people are like, who are you talking about? So I should be calling her Pullover. I do apologise. With Pullover, it's like it's great to see her back. I don't know if you're going to mention this later, but she did have later in the game. She did have a shot off the crossbar, and I've watched the replay, and it was literally the top of the ball that sent it over. And it really annoyed me because she had it was a bit of a long ranger for just outside the box, and it just didn't go in. It was just so unlucky. But for Stina Blackstenius to be benefiting from that, it's what you want to see from your striker. As much as I whinge about goal poachers and all that kind of stuff, sometimes you just want that just to keep the momentum going and keep the players' confidence up. You can't have worldies all the time, unless you're Katie McCabe. That's a different story. But yeah, no, I definitely almost jumped over a set of seats for that one in block 2.
So, well, it's just one of those, you got to go in, you're 4-0 up at half time, and you've got two options. You just go, right, okay, we can rest, we can relax, we can just take a, don't want to say take a chill pill, but it's almost like you can take a chill pill, but you've got to be careful.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with the goalkeeper Clark. She's 24 years old, but she was subbed at half time for Katie Keane. I'm guessing that was some sort of injury.
I think it was a head injury or something. I think. Not a head injury. I think she did sit down for a little while, and they were doing something to one of her legs. So we were just waiting for that. And I remember sitting there. All of a sudden, the concourse went off, and I looked at the time, and I went, "Oh my god, the men are playing." And I've looked, and Victor Gyökeres has scored. I'm like, oh, it's a Scandi night for the Arsenal. So although it was a penalty, which was rightfully earned, yeah, the Swedes were having a very good night so far at half time.
Well, it definitely were. But so Casey Keane came on for Leicester in goal. Mariona and Alessia came on for Kim and Stina at half time.
Yeah.
What were you thinking at the time? Were you thinking this was just an opportunity to?
I think it was an opportunity for players to keep their legs going, and also preparation for Saturday. Obviously, Saturday is a very big tie, and you don't want your top players running on zero or an empty tank. So and you also kind of want to keep Alessia and Mariona fresh at the same time. So having that balance of letting them play and reducing their minutes, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, Leah Williamson and Steph, they need the rest before the weekend. It makes sense to put Taylor on for 90 minutes, Smilla on for 90 minutes, and Kadina on for 90 minutes. I think Fox came off at some point.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, for Harwood, right?
Oh no, Casey McCabe came on for Sophia Harwood. I was going to talk about that later.
Okay, yeah, no. So it's the players that don't get very minutes against. No disrespect for a club like Leicester, but against Leicester, it's a no-brainer for me.
Do you think then that this was just the perfect game post Leon, where players could almost be rested and relax a little bit?
It was, especially in the situation that Leicester are in. If you take, sorry, I am pulling the table up. Give me one
Leicester
second.
Leicester bottom of the table with 9 points.
Yeah, and I think Leicester are definitely going to the playoffs. They've got 9 points, and it doesn't look great for them. But again, they could stay up via the playoffs.
I need to make an apology now because you mentioned that. I have believed all year that the bottom team would get relegated, and it turns out that's not true. It's the bottom team going into the relegation playoffs. So we've been expecting Leicester to come down, top two to go through, and then the relegation playoff. That doesn't happen. Yeah. That's not going to happen. However, it does mean that in WSL 2 that they're going to have more chances there. Actually, believe it I believe Wolves have been promoted. There is a playoff match on Monday that's on their YouTube. That will be one to keep an eye on. Anyway, yes, so basically Leicester are in the relegation playoff. No chance now to potentially salvage the season.
I think West Ham have pulled up their socks enough to escape it. I mean, they've got 4 wins, 4 draws for West Ham, whereas you look at Leicester, they've had 2 wins all season and 3 draws.
This
15 losses and have let in as many goals as City have scored this season. There's one difference.
This is a missed opportunity because I think for me personally, it would have made a lot more sense for the bottom team to be relegated player, and then you've got 2 teams coming in and then relegation playoff to decide who comes in on that second, which means it makes it more. What's the best way to? It makes it more of a challenge, I think, for the league. I mean, like West Ham and Leicester.
Yeah, I think what they should have done is last 12th place gets relegated, end of. But for that 11th spot, they go into a playoff.
This is what's going to happen next season.
But it also gives the opportunity for the teams below to come up. And I know I say West Ham every year, they just about scrape it. But I think from next year, teams like West Ham need to be watching their backs. I know Tottenham have done a lot better this year, but they're losing the likes of their top goal scorer, their captain.
Well, they're losing half their team at the moment.
And I honestly, if the men's team go down, I'll be honest with you, Beth England in her video, because I came across it earlier today, she mentioned setting the pathway for a women's and girls academy sort of facility. Spurs are going to pull the plug. That's the first thing that's going to go. And I can potentially see Tottenham not being in the WSL next season. It's the same thing for the West Ham ladies, women. I can't see those clubs supporting it. One, because of the billions they're going to lose as well. And if they a lot of the, dare I say, a lot of the money that they have, bar the sponsors, it comes from the main club. They sell out Spurs. So West Ham's not ideal, but they still have a lot of tickets sold, a lot of merch sold, etc. So it's going to be one of them 2 clubs next season, I think, as well.
But at the moment, we definitely know Charlton Athletic coming up. We also know Birmingham City definitely coming up.
I'm so excited for Charlton.
At the moment, it's Crystal Palace, but it could be Bristol City in that promotion of relegation playoff, which would be one to keep an eye on. Definitely one to keep going and looking at. I believe this week's the last week for the championship sides.
Probably.
So it'll be one to keep an eye on Sunday. Yeah,
because it usually finishes a week before the top flight does. So that sounds about right to me.
And the WSL finishes on the
16th.
16th. I know I was going to get it completely wrong.
I'm coming up to Liverpool, you Wally. Don't tell me it's not the 16th. I've got my train tickets booked.
No, I nearly said the 6th. I have no idea why I said the 6th. I know. Looking at Lottie shaking her head to say, "What the hell are you looking at? Are you doing, you numpty?"
I have no words. I know it's a Friday night, mate, but come on.
Should we get on to the second half?
Let's get on to that wonderful second goal from the Scandi.
48 minutes on the clock. This is what I really love, is that when you sit and watch the women's game, there will be a lovely build-up in the final third. And eventually the ball just finds Olivia Smith. And Olivia Smith goes and sees, right, okay, I'm going to just hit it straight across and someone's going to hit it, just tap it in. And that's exactly what Smilla Holmberg does. It is such a classic Arsenal move, not just Arsenal women. This is an Arsenal men's move as well that you could look at in the past, and it would be one that, like, almost genetic, beautiful football inside the box. as Smilla Holmberg taps it in for 5.
Yeah, no, right place, right time again. Olivia Smith's work rate is just unbelievable, especially after having 7 bells kicked out of her at the weekend. Like I'm at the point where she's like the Bukayo Saka of the women's world. Just kick her, break her, just knock 7 bells out of her. She's gitched, stamped on, whatever, and then the referees still ignore her, even when she's got a head injury. And she's sitting on the pitch still. Yeah, no, lovely, right place, right time for Smilla. And the Arsenal Stadium got her name correct on the second time round, which is great to see. But yeah, I shouldn't be complaining about graphics. I was too busy enjoying myself. So yeah.
It is that feel-good factor, and that feel-good factor carried on. Leah, again, Arsenal playing beautiful football inside the box. Ball falls to Leah Cadena. She just plays a lovely one-touch first time to Mariona. And what does Mariona do? What Mariona does best. And the crowd say, shoot! And it absolutely rifles the back of the net for 6-0.
It's just the second time I've been a part of one of these moments. I did it to her at Chelsea. I did it today. If I've got to scream at her to shoot at for the rest of the season, I will. Because her goal scoring isn't as good as it was last year. I know it's the first season to impress. And now she's settling down and she's playing out without Leah Williamson, which I thought she was always very key to how they played and how she, like the build-up, got to her and got her scoring. But yeah, no, it's nice to see Mariona score like that. It's always glorious, especially in the build-up to Lyon. We all know what happened last year. I want more.
I think this, again, we talked about it one way. It was a confidence booster as well. I think that's the best way to put it as well. 63 minutes on the clock. Holmberg, again, a lovely lofted corner, and Leah Williamson doing what Leah Williamson needs to carry on doing. And she just rushes in and goes, I'm having that. And she's first there. And she finally gets her first WSL goal of the season. A stat for you, she's only not scored in the WSL for one season. That was 23-24. That was only what I could find. So there might be a few more where
wasn't
that
that
might
the
be
season she did her ACL?
I think it's the season she came 23-24. Yes, because she was out for
that's why she didn't score. She was out for most of the season. So
yeah, 23-24. Yeah, she was out because she.
Yeah, guess when we were stricken. Touch wood, it never happens again. But yeah, no. So that was the season she was out, which is like fair enough. Do you know what I mean? It's a major muscle tear in your knee. It's how your knee functions. Yeah, no, great way to, as I said earlier in the pod, great way to just before a new contract announcement comes through. And I hope we get many, many more. 10 more years, Leah Williamson.
It's one that it does frustrate me a little bit because she's so good in the air. She's such a good player. The fact that, again, go back to the lofted balls, the way she executes, it's almost like the only thing that you'd like to add to her game is a little bit more finishing. And maybe it might be a case of finding a few of those set pieces or things like that where she can either be on the edge like a Mariona to just rifle it in, or maybe it's, again, against Leicester, just I'm going to barge in, I'm going to score, and nothing's going to stop me. We have mentioned a little bit on Sophie Harwood. I wasn't able to see how she did in the closing minutes because she came on for KCMK. What did you think?
She did what she had to do. It wasn't enough time for me to kind of assess what I think of her, if that makes sense. I like to wait at least 90 minutes or 2 or 180 before I make a decision. I mean, it's the second appearance she's had at the Emirates. She was on for a few minutes a few weeks ago. I remember when she came on, the stands were very quiet, and I just sort of decided to shout, "You've got this, Sophie," sort of thing, because I was quite excited about new player I haven't really seen, and I love it when I go to a game and there's players I've never really kind of watched, even if it's the opposition. So I want to give my assessment for a little bit later, if that makes sense. I haven't watched her enough, but from what I saw, she doesn't look bad.
Yeah. So again, similar to when you turned around and said how good Kyra is, and I had this
exactly that.
Yeah,
exactly that. Because I got to the point where I fell down a YouTube hole of Kyra, and that was it. And then she signed. I was so happy.
Again, it's just making sure that there's, once you get that understanding of a player. I mean, first time I got to see Leah Harbour was last week, and it was only a 5-minute cameo. But because I've seen her play so well in the youth England sides, she 5 minutes on the pitch, and she nearly scored against Chelsea. And to be honest,
that would have been funny as hell as well.
I'd have been so made up for her. It was just one of those times where you're just thinking it would be so nice to see her. But I'm gonna have to do something for her. I think I might send her a message to her at Finch Farm just to say how much she's appreciated, because it is tough to come into a team, play barely any minute, play only 5 minutes. But unfortunately, that's the way it is. But there is a player there, and there is a player there with Sophie Harwood as well. Hopefully she can get the minutes. Hopefully she can. Maybe it might be time that they look at her. She goes out on next season in the WSL. There's going to be plenty of teams looking at left backs next season. Shall we go on to tomorrow's game? I will briefly mention Lyon drew on Wednesday night to Nantes, 1-1. So some encouraging signs, as some people like to say now. But the team news, thank you, Tim Stillman, or those that don't know, Ask Plug. I wasn't able to find any press conference information. So who do you go to? The number one source. Well, some people don't want to call him the number one source, but he is the go-to for fans on any sort of news regarding Arsenal women. Steph Catley and Beth Meads are both unavailable for this game. Manu, Michelle, and Katie are still recovering from their ACLs. I'm still wondering whether or not we'll see Manu come the end of the season. I'm hoping she does.
Maybe not. The thing is, we've got a chock-a-block sort of fixtures coming up. For anyone who does play the women's WSL fantasy football, it is a triple game week for the Arsenal girls. So I have a feeling if Daphne plays on Saturday, I'm not sure. I think Manu might be in goal for the Everton game for the end of season at the Emirates.
Yeah, that would be.
Or she could be in goal for Villa or Brighton, which is away before then. So I do think the last home game will go to Manu. So she can say goodbye to the fans.
We'll see.
Possibly, I can't remember what order it's in.
Everton, we play on the 9th, Saturday the 9th, which is the FA Cup. Is it the? I believe it. No, is it the?
No, FA Cup? It's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday afternoon. It's the last home game. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff. Yeah, we've got Brighton, Villa, and then Everton. Everton's the 13th of May. The 9th of May is Saturday, and it's Aston Villa away. So I think either Brighton or possibly Villa, Manu might be in goal, or it could be Everton, because it's the last home game of the season, and it'd be her last game as well. I don't see her going goal up at Liverpool. I'm really sorry, but I don't.
No, but I think that she'll be a bit like Rafaela. She'll be one of the last ones staying out there to be with fans. Fortunately, at Anfield, they basically both teams come through on the buses. There's no way that they can sign or stop for anything. The only way to do that would be on the being pitch side. Kyra's also obviously, for those that don't know or may know, she is out for the season for family reasons. We're just going to leave it there. I hope that everything goes well and that they feel better. But there is some silver lining, and that comes in Chloe Kelly returning. So does she start or does she go on the bench?
I really don't know, because she's been doing her. I've had a look at her social media. It came up in my feed actually. She's been doing her managing of a little football team that she's got, Clash FC. So I don't know if there's an injury there or it's just Arsenal said, yeah, you can go. We're covered. We've got enough depth. So yeah, I'm quite happy she's back. And it's nice. It's good to know she's had a bit of a rest as well.
I hope that she is going to be on the bench to begin with, because I think she is going to be the
priority. Oh yeah, it's either her or Olivia Smith that are going to cause problems. Either of them starting or off the bench, they're a problem. Especially off the bench when there's tired legs. Pair of them are a problem. Thing is, what I would like to see is Olivia to play the full 90, but then and then Kelly come on the other side, because I've noticed they're very flexible on switching wings, and that confuses Renée, and I love it. I was watching it the other I think I watched one of Lyon's games over in France. I don't know why I was watching it. I just came across it. Oh, I'll leave this on. But the two wingers were switching, and she got so confused. And I was sitting there, you're a very well seasoned centre back. Why can't you keep track of your winger? Sort of thing. So,
well, I think that's the other thing, is that if you're so set in your ways and you're so experienced, she is in a twilight of her career now. She essentially you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So the switching of the flanks is a fairly recent tactic, if you think about it now.
Well, so, it was really, didn't really notice it until the first time I won the Euros with Beth and Chloe. So the fact that those two can bring it in from England as well is just absolutely fantastic to watch.
See, I noticed it a lot more over that first season. We would start with Caitlin and Beth, and both of them would swap, but Caitlin wasn't always that great on the other side. Now I've noticed that Caitlin is a bit of a thorn in Lyon's side. It's encouraging. It's
absolutely encouraging, but it's also helped that she's kind of, I don't want to say actually, forget that trail off. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'd rather not, because I don't want people to come for me. So don't worry.
It's all right. I seem to be living in a hedge at the moment, so a lot of people can come for me. If you're saying what I think you're going to say, then I would probably confidently say it, and I've been saying it a lot of the time.
I know.
So anyway, we've gotten off track. Yeah. You can follow the pod at VAW Pod on Twitter, Blue Sky on Instagram. As you can see, if you're on YouTube, it's scrolling across the screen. You can also follow the pod on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I got there eventually. We got there eventually. Where can the lovely people find you, Lottie?
Guess what? I've changed my Twitter handle again. You can find me at Lottie_SB25.
Little nod there to Scandinavian. I'm very boring. I've never changed my handle. My handle has always been Matt LR28, because knowing my luck, if I change it, someone else will go and nick it. So that's all. But on that note, the Gunners are back in action tomorrow on the BBC if you're in the UK, also on Disney Plus, everywhere else. Let's hope for the best.
2 p.m. UK time.
Yes, thank you for that. I knew I was going to miss something, so thank you for adding that. There's all the chance that Arsenal could once again be in a European Champions League final. Imagine that. 3 times that Arsenal would be in a Champions League final. I still can't. I'm muffling the words. Who would have thought that? Thank you all for joining us. And don't forget, come on, you Gunners.
You Gunners. Bye.